This is a clip from the Red Cow Arcade podcast.
I thought it would be great if we could talk about the Sega Mega Drive Mini 2.
Oh, yeah. I also watched that Sega Lord X video.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting because I don't know if I never got into Sega CD. I always saw it in the Toys R Us circulars, the little Sega CD attachment and all the games that were supposedly like better versions of the ones I had or something, or FMV videos and stuff. And I remember looking at it and just being like, is that something I want? And I could never get there. I never wanted it. It got my dad somehow. Like because I did definitely want a Genesis. I remember I got a Genesis. I got the Genesis 2. I got it a year late, so I got it bundled with Sonic 2. So it was, by that point, they were, we weren't dealing with Altered Beasts anymore. We weren't dealing with Strider anymore. We were in the Sonic 2 phase of the Sega Genesis, which is a good place to jump in. And maybe 2 years later, my dad bought I'm actually looking as we speak at the Sega CD he bought. Yeah, he bought the Sega CD for some Christmas, and I was like, that's cool. And I think the reason he did it was because he knew CD technology was, he knew about car stereos. He knew about new boom boxes, like living room sound systems and stuff. I think CDs, and probably he heard somewhere that you could play music CDs on it, which you could. So he bought it, and it came with Sewer Shark, which was a very funny game that I remember it was 30 cents at Funko-Land, and I remember that really captured my imagination. I actually think it's a great game. A failure of a game at Funko-Land.
It was one of the games that came bundled with it. I remember my Uncle John, may he rest in peace. He had it. He would always buy all this stupid shit. He was like a rent-a-center uncle, and he had a Sega CD, and I remember watching the opening FMV of Sewer Shark. And I remember being slightly scared of it because Sega CD games had a little bit of that spookiness about them.
Yeah, the compression was spooky.
It was like a post-apocalyptic future where the tunnels are overrun by mutant rats, and there's you're a futuristic exterminator that has to kill them. And so you're flying around in tunnels, but in reality it's just a video loop of going in tunnels. And they give you there's a droid that gives you coordinates. He's like 9 or 6, 12. It's and you have to remember what he said and go that way and shoot rats the whole time. And then on some interval, they'll cut in a cutscene that tells you how you're doing. And it was your boss was a big fat dude, and what he was eating, he was always slopping his face. What he was eating, and he had a prostitute with him the whole time. Whatever he was eating kind of tipped you off about how well you did. So if it's oh fuck, I got spaghetti, so that means I haven't been doing well. But if he's eating pizza, that means you can proceed. And then you needed to get to Solar City. So at the end of the game, you got to some beach, and that's all you needed to do was get to the fucking beach. And then you send him adrift. You watch a. That's one cool thing about the FMVs was that at least you get to watch a movie. There's so many 2D video games, their endings are so underwhelming. It's a text box or some shit.
Yeah, you got to see a game developer in a costume performing.
The last ever since the NES Mini came out, I've been thinking obviously Sega released a lot of through At Games, they released a lot of terrible mini consoles. I mean, just embarrassing products that you just can't believe they released. But yeah, 2 years ago, they released a pretty good one. But it's the same old fucking games. It's the same old, Sonic 1 and 2 and not 3 and, whatever, Vector Man 2. And I remember thinking well, if you're going to release a Raspberry Pi, why don't you put a Sega CD game or two on there, or a 32X game or two. Nobody has anybody ever released Knuckles Chaotix? It's probably not a very good game, but at least release it. Make these because these mini consoles are just more HDMI shit to hook up to the TV anyway. They don't look very cute when they're dangling on an HDMI cable.
No.
You know?
So, but that's what I kind of like about this one is they have the Sega CD like a fake one. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
You can put it to decorate it. It has like a mini CD in there. You can put a cartridge. You can put a 32X in there.
Now the game is the idea that the Sega CD games are going to be playable with or without the extension. That's just for decoration.
Yeah, I believe that's just for decoration. I mean, it's yeah. I think it's just for your own collectible. They're part, collectible, part shelf material.
I think it's cool. I think they probably would be better off. I guess in an ideal world, they would release the mini console, fine, for collectors. That's a cool thing to do for collectors. But release the same collection for Switch,
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, especially because you can get a Genesis controller for the Switch. You literally from Nintendo's website.
One of the worst things about the mini consoles is they're not portable.
Yeah.
I also think having two, so now let's say you own the first one and now this one, it's shouldn't they be able
and
to...
a NES Classic and a Super Nintendo Classic.
Yeah, shouldn't they... If they're going to do the expansion stuff, wouldn't it be cool if they could make it so, get the Sega CD expansion, and that comes with, Wi-Fi, and then we'll let you download a bunch of games because you bought the experience.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, it's just so you have one device. But
much like the Sega CD add-on itself.
But I doubt they'll go that far. It'll just be a closed-off box that you can...
I'm trying to figure out what... I'm looking at because so far they haven't announced that it's going to be released in North America.
No, they haven't, and they haven't announced all the games for it. They just there's ones on here that are Popful Mail, which I played a little bit of it. I played 10 minutes of it because I saw a Sega Lord X video or something. I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting.
It does appeal to me. I don't like RPGs in general, but there's something appealing about by all accounts it looks like a Sega Genesis game, but the soundtrack is really kicking, and there's plenty of human dialogue badly recorded
recorded by school teachers and stuff.
I want to there's a Hook game. It's just the Sega Genesis version, but it's got the John Williams score throughout it, I think.
No.
Did you know there's a Hook beat 'em up game for arcade that's actually really good?
Yes, I do. I saw the SNES drunk episode about it, and I put it on my arcade once I saw that episode.
Oh, nice. I've got the games they have announced in front of me. I think this is everything they've announced so far. So they said there's going to be 50 Mega Drive / Genesis and Mega CD. It's all very European and Japanese. But yeah, Sega CD, Genesis for us Americans. And they are, so the Genesis games would be Bonanza Brothers. I don't know that one. Or Bonanza Bros. Fantasy Zone. Sega Lord X never ceases to talk about. If there's one thing that's true in this world, he's going to talk about Fantasy Zone. And he's going to talk about, what's that? What the hell is that motorcycle game he always talks about?
Is it Road Rash?
Yes, Road Rash.
Road Rash, yeah.
Road Rash 1, 2, and 3. Just won't stop.
And the Batman Returns Sega CD game, he'll talk about a lot.
Yeah, even though he hates half of it.
He hates half of it. He just likes the driving section because of the sprite scaling. Dude,
I've played the fucking sprite scaling Batmobile sequences in that he loves so much. It's shite. Outrun is way better.
He loves it. He never stops talking about it. He's like, well, I don't think they'll have Batman Returns, much to my dismay. I don't think they'll have.
I'll have to just keep playing it anyway.
Much to my dismay, they will not get the licensing rights to get Batman Returns.
Well, I'll talk about it in a minute, but I've been playing a bunch of Demons of Astaborg, and so I went back to his review of it because he's the one who turned me onto it. New game for an old console. And I discovered, by the way, something I think is super cool is while it plays on Genesis, the flash cart they must use is way bigger than flash carts that they used to release. Because I was looking at the ROMs, and it's 16 meg versus the biggest ROMs for Genesis were 4 meg.
Yeah.
So I just think that's kind of neat. But there's some turn of phrase he used. I don't know why, correct me up. Probably just because we impersonated him so much. But he was talking about there's a roll attack, and he's like, there's a roll attack which gives you 1 second without damage, and that reprieve is awfully relieving. And to give you some reprieve. And then he goes, and you would do well to learn it well. Or something.
This momentary reprieve is vital to mastering the gameplay, and you would do well to make the most of it.
It would suit you.
Yeah, he does have some interesting turns of phrase.
Can we get him on here?
I hope so.
Motherfucker on here.
We're obsessed with him, like in a good way.
He's a big part of this podcast at this point.
Well, sometimes when you don't want to absorb a plot of a TV show, you just throw on one of those.
Oh,
and
dude.
it's just...
I would do a Sega Lord X video over just about anything.
Anything on Disney Plus can, frankly, go to hell.
Much reprieve.
I get a much reprieve from the Sega Lord X.
I want the streaming service where every thumbnail is just Sega Lord X stuff, and there's a big banner of Sega Lord X stuff that's scrolling.
Yeah, with the you switch between that and SNES Drunk.
Yeah, that would be great. Sega Lord Plus.
You get plenty of stuff to boot.
With plenty of videos to boot. And the kiddos are going to love it. I love that guy. Where is he? Get him on here. Shining in the darkness.
I'll call his agent.
Yeah, look, we don't have a lot of viewers, but we have enough that somebody can help us get him on here. And we'll impersonate him to his face, and we'll tell him, I would rather watch your content than anything.
Anything.
Than anything. Especially Kenobi.
Like if you said I had to if Sega Lord X would never produce a video, or I had to permanently cancel Disney Plus and Netflix, I'd probably permanently cancel Disney Plus.
Absolutely. Certainly as a show of solidarity and philanthropy, but yeah, even if it was you got to choose.
Yeah, if a wizard came and told me I had to choose, it's such an easy choice. I can't even tell you.
I'd watch it over anything. Shining in the Darkness. That's a Genesis game. Thunder Force 4, which is like a shoot 'em up. I tell you, shoot 'em ups is one of my least favorite genres. I mean, what is this? Avoid the Dots, the game.
I have a legendary wings behind me. It's actually off camera. It's on my dunk. It's a Capcom vertical shooter. You're like an angel or something. I don't know.
And then Virtual Racing, which that's a 32X game, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, well, it definitely is. If there was a Genesis release, I'm aware of it. The Genesis Virtua Racing is a unique port of the classic racing game using a chip known as the Sega Virtua Processor.
Oh, yeah. Sega Lord X talks about that virtual processor all the time, like the rarely used virtual processor.
The niche Sega Virtua Processor, to boot, which makes polygon drawing plausible on the humble Genesis. The workhorse, the 8-year workhorse. Unfortunately, just 8 months later, Sega released an enhanced version for the 32X. So, are we getting the Genesis version?
I'm guessing, because it says Mega Drive Genesis games.
Well, that just seems silly. Release the fucking... What, your computer can't handle this?
I don't know.
Put it on there. And don't even tell me which version it is. Just let me guess. And then just a handful of Sega CD. Mansion of the Hidden Souls. I don't know that one.
I don't know that one.
Popful Mail. Famous. It seems like a cool game. I also played it for 10 minutes, and I was kind of digging it.
Yeah, it's got a good vibe to it. It's colorful. It's got some anime cutscenes in it. It's kind of interesting.
Shining Force CD, is that that's an RPG?
It's like a turn-based strategy game. It's kind of like a Fire Emblem, if you've ever heard of that. But
oh yeah, they should make their own Smash Brothers and just flood it with Shining Force characters.
I know. It's like half that Smash Brothers.
For 5 or 6 years, every few months, say like a new character, Shining Force. Sylpheed, which Sega Lord X was pretty pumped about.
Yeah, that's a sort of vertical shooter, but it's like on a tilt, right? And it's like a little bit 3D. Yeah,
it actually seems really cool. And then finally Sonic CD, which is probably the best game for the Sega CD, honestly. I owned Power Rangers. and which was just the show. They just showed you the show, and you press buttons along to the show. And I loved it. I played the shit out of it. Like it did, you know. I think they added one thing, like they would have the Power Rangers logo, and that you know, like the Thunderbolt, and they would use that to be like up, down, left.
Yeah.
And if you got it wrong, it would do a really obnoxious like sound at you, and the whole screen would shake. So you got a little bit of that.
It's like shitty Dragon's Lair.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was another shitty Dragon's Lair. It was, I don't know if you remember when we were kids, but like Saban Entertainment, who brought Power Rangers to the States, Sentai to the States, they were like, well, how else can we repackage Sentai? And so they did VR Troopers and they did Masked Rider. VR Troopers was just another Sentai, and Masked Rider was Kamen Rider.
Oh, yeah.
Which is this other long-running Sentai type show in Japan. And, you know, it was always like a praying mantis or like a bug kind of superhero. And the show was interesting because they stole from their footage, even though they chose one particular Kamen Rider as the United States Masked Rider, but in like wide shots and stuff, they would borrow from all different series. So I didn't know any of that as a kid. So I see Masked Rider for a Sega CD game in a Kmart, I remember, and I bought that. I remember I had some. It's all coming back to me now. I was at a Kmart, maybe, or it might have been like a Leech Me or something like that. And I had some birthday money, and we went there to spend my birthday money.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, we were like, we're gonna go spend the money. Like, you gotta like spend this up for some reason.
Yeah. Well, you wanted to spend it. Your parents would let you. It's fine.
I bought Kamen Rider Zoe for Sega CD. I bought a holiday VHS of Dinosaurs, the sitcom Dinosaurs.
Wow.
It had like the werewolf Halloween episode, and it had Refrigerator Day, both of which are excellent episodes of Dinosaurs. I watched them like crazy. And then Ernest Scared Stupid. It must have been Halloween time. Ernest Scared Stupid I bought on VHS.
Wow.
It was also a great movie.
That's a good haul.
That was a really, yeah. If I had a YouTube channel when I was 7, my God.
You're like, yeah, have your iPhone in the store, picking up games.
Hey guys, what is going on? This is 7-year-old Frankie. I sound like this for some reason. Oh, this seems really cool. Like Kamen Rider. This is like something from Japan or something. Seems kind of neat. I'm going to pick it up.
You have that to your house, or you like open it up. It's like, oh, here's the manual. It's games coming.
Like really, I'm definitely gonna have to open this later after you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys how. If you've heard of Kamen Rider, comment below. But it was what I got. I was not expecting. It was just the Japanese movie. It was a movie called Kamen Rider Zoe. It was dubbed terribly. And instead of it being 90 minutes, it's, if you play the whole game and you succeed, it's like 30 minutes because they made branching paths, but all for the same movie.
Wow.
So they just kind of cut out scenes. They're like, if you just take your motorcycle here, you just don't even have to do any of this shit.
Interesting.
And it was cool because when you beat it, they let you rewatch the whole movie. So I remember I taped it at the end so I could actually enjoy the film some other time. But yeah, it was scary. He fights this like nasty tarantula character, and there's some really weird shit towards the end where he fights this like kind of Total Recall-esque alien thing. I mean, it's really the Japanese. They don't pull punches with this stuff.
It's a children's show.
I imagine it's like, when we were young, when people would discover an obscure anime that would never, kind of pre-internet, and you'd be like, there's like a whole world of entertainment out there that like is, I think John, and lots of people went through that with anime. For me, it was this particular Sega CD game. I don't know how that, like, I'd love to know, how did that Sega CD game end up in that Kmart?
It was released, so it was a poor Kamen Rider
Zoe.
Rider Sega CD.
Yeah, I still have it.
Yeah, look at that. Wow.
Right?
It's crazy that it exists.
And like it's like if you look at the cover, there's like those creepy monsters. It's truly scary. He in the opening sequence he fights this thing. It's like there's a monster chasing after a kid named Yoshi, or Hiroshi. I think he goes by Yoshi.
Yoshi. Bowling high.
Anyway, yeah, I guess I'll buy this stupid fucking thing, even though I've got it on every other emulator in the household.
Yeah,
but there's something I want to support this idea of like. I don't know. I don't need a Dreamcast Mini. I don't need a Saturn Mini. But I would like some collections for Switch. You know.
Yeah, I think more collections would be nice. I mean, they have like some Sega Genesis game, but yeah, it would be great to, especially because if you have this premium Nintendo service, put Sega CD on there, put 3DX on there.
Yeah, come on. It took a while before I was able to. Well, yeah, and Sega CD is harder to emulate, not because things can't handle it, but the disk images are larger. They're 700 meg or whatever instead of like 4 meg.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.